Hello and welcome to QuestLore, a family Lorcana podcast where each and every week we come to you and talk about all things Lorcana. I'm Matt.
I'm Malcolm.
I'm Mehmet.
And I'm Jen.
Okay, so let's get started right away this week. Small week on news. We got a few new cards that we're going to go over, but we're going to start off how we do every week with our week in play. So we were able to attend regular Lorcana League at our normal store on Sunday for the first time in
a long time, like since mid-August, I think.
Yeah, on the regular day, like me and Malcolm went a couple weeks ago on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But this was the first time the four of us have been able to go there during regular hours, regular time we normally play, only to have it immediately. It's not going to happen this weekend. But last weekend we were able to play. So how was it getting back into the store and playing?
It was so good seeing someone playing Trident.
Yeah, so someone bought a King Trident deck. They did pretty well with it. They had went over and saw his board at one point. There were like 8 locations out. With King Trident, like makes the opponent's characters lose strength when depending on the number of locations out. So basically, no characters that were played had any strength, and Trident just kind of sat there and quested away.
How much does Trident quest for?
It's 3 or 4. I don't know the card because I've never played him. That was the first time I've probably ever seen him played outside of like a draft. So,
yeah.
But he did okay. I think sometimes when you bring those decks that people don't see coming, you get the surprise factor off.
Yeah, for sure.
People trying to figure out how to play against it. I actually did that myself this past weekend. I brought a deck that relied on Mama Odie and the Bloodborne Grammatala.
Because why wouldn't anyone think of that?
I had no idea how I was going to play.
It was the geriatric deck.
Yes, the geriatric deck.
Don't you mean the grandma deck?
Wooden teeth. So basically, what it's trying to do is you ramp. So it's a Sapphire Steel deck. You ramp using the Mama Odies. You will let you put a card from the top of your deck into your inkwell. And then the Bloodborne Grammatala, you gain a lore every time you add a card to your inkwell. So basically, there was the last turn on the last game I played, I gained like 12 lore because I had like 2 Mama Odies on the board, and I like just kept singing songs and throwing cards into my inkwell. And Grammatala was on board and just zoomed up ahead. I had no idea what I was doing. I had seen the deck list basically. This was one time where I had just seen the deck list online. I thought, why not? Let's have fun.
Question. Is there any way you can gain 20 lore off Grammatala?
That would be pretty difficult.
You'd have to have a lot of ink out there to sing a lot of songs.
A lot of ramping. So if you had all 4 of the Mama Odies I had in my deck, and then I could somehow sing 5 songs,
then yes,
you could gain 20 lore that way.
No, but what if you only play 4 1-drop? What if you play the 4 1-drop ahead? That's a solid 4 lore. Fishbone, all 4 of your fishbone quills.
So
8 lore, and then use 4 bells, 12 lore.
So you got to have all the ink to be able to do some of those things.
Yes.
Right, and you got to have cards in your hand to ink from the fishbone quill, and you have to have all those cards in your hand to do it.
And because some of those things force you to ink them exerted, so you can't use them right away.
Yeah. So that would be pretty hard to do.
Very difficult.
Not impossible. I mean, I did quest all together between the songs and the questing power I had on board. I quested for like 12
in a single turn
on that turn. So with a blue steel deck without Dime, without Tamatoa, did all right. I went 2 and 1. So it was fun, but I don't think I played again. Like I ran into some issues once they got bigger characters on board. I just couldn't do anything about them really.
And how did you do on Wednesday?
Well, let's finish up Sunday first.
Okay.
So Malcolm, how about you? How was your day?
I went 2-1.
That's good.
That's good.
I was playing aggro.
Aggro, what colors? Because I know you've been changing it up.
Amethyst, amber.
That's cool.
Hyper aggro is pretty popular right now.
Yeah. And I out aggroed one person. I beat a ramp deck, and I lost against another ramp deck.
Yeah, ramp decks. There are quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Emmett, how about you?
I went 0-3 for the first time ever.
You were playing a new deck too, right?
Yeah, and I didn't get a lot of my good cards.
Back to the evasive Christmas deck for you, right?
No, not my Christmas deck.
Oh no. This
Emerald
is
Amethyst.
Emerald
Mhm.
Amethyst, but more of an aggro Emerald Amethyst, not
Mhm.
kind of the tempo version that's kind of popular right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he really wanted some of those evasives back in there, right? Is that what it
Yeah.
was? So it
But
didn't
now
quite
I
work.
want to switch my deck to what's it? Oh, like Amber Sapphire.
Sure.
Amber Sapphire. Okay.
Okay,
We'll
interesting.
take a look at that.
So I ended up going 2-1. And the only game that I lost was actually a mirror match. So I'm still playing my Steel Song, but I did I am kind of back to a more traditional Steel Song. Um, so I'm playing the Queens and no Robin Hoods, um, and I'm playing um, took out like quite a few things. It took out the fill is the main thing, so it's not a hero deck anymore.
For hero for what?
For Phil to work, everyone
No,
has to
what
be
did you
heroes.
take out the hero?
I don't remember a lot of stuff. Okay. Um, and so yeah, so I did pretty well with it. I was pretty happy with it, and I did go like 1-2 on the one game that I lost. So I thought I played pretty well.
Because a lot of 2-game format stuff,
Mhm.
you would at least have gone 1-1 there.
Yep.
Gone an 0-2, so that's
Mhm.
good to know.
And then me and Dad actually played on Wednesday.
Yeah, so we played Wednesday night at another place that we were able to do league at. Because that was like the end of their they do 4-week cycles at that store, and that was the end of that 4-week cycle. So we wanted to make sure to go up there so that we could grab a pin and some promos and play. Emmett, how were you doing that on last night?
Last night, I didn't do too well.
No. You went 1-on-1 with your friend. You
Yes.
played Eli, and then I think you ran into some ramp decks that kind of were just like zooming along.
And also someone was just like judge because I played a proxy.
Yeah. I had. So we have one store that allows proxies and one store that doesn't allow proxies.
Oh, and you forgot.
And I forgot to take the proxies out of his deck. I had the goats like in another deck in my bag, so I switched them out between rounds.
Wow.
If anything, so I had to proxy some goats because there were like I didn't want to unsleeve like my Ruby Amethyst deck, so I had 8 goats being used. I've got more goats now, but Emmett's deck also needed goats, so I just made up some proxies and drew some pictures of goats on pieces of paper. They were actually quite a hit with everyone that saw them.
Yes.
But
Everyone at our store loved them.
Yeah.
At our normal store.
They liked them there too. It was just they don't want you to use proxies. So I quickly switched them out. So it was just the one game. Realized how close they were was an issue. So no big deal. And then me myself, I played Steel Song, similar to Jen's deck with a couple of little tweaks to it. And I was able to tie for first with 2 other people. Since that store does a 2-game format, it usually ends up in a tie at the end. Because it's just based off points, and there's not really anything on that. But it was interesting kind of piloting that deck in the format that it's in currently. A lot of little decisions to be made when you're doing stuff. So, but good times.
And I also realized something that RIW, aka that amber is the best color. Just take one look at its super rares and legendaries.
Okay.
I'm just really loving Amber right now. I don't know why. We'll see. Because I don't think you've played it very often. So
I played Ruby.
I said very often. I said very often.
Well, we've got some time before you'll play your next constructed one because our normal store isn't having it this weekend. You guys have rehearsal next Wednesday.
And then our normal store is actually going to try out doing like a pauper type deck, where they're just allowing commons and uncommons. So we're all trying to, finagle our way through that and figure out what kind of deck we're gonna run.
Taffany mutton fudge.
Yeah, Malcolm is doing a Taffany mutton fudge based deck.
I'm just thinking of something.
You only got up to like 30 cards, so you got to figure out another 30.
Yeah.
So,
all I'm thinking of is like anything amethyst, so I can use stuff like a lot of those some hyper aggro cards.
Yeah, and I think that we were talking about Matt and I were talking earlier this week when the person in charge, that the owner of the store we normally play on Sundays, mentioned that he was going to do that. And we kind of said that, for that kind of format, it seems like Amber's probably going to be very popular. Because,
Amethyst.
oh, Amethyst. I'm sorry, Amethyst will be very popular because a lot of the Merlin and Mim cards are commons and uncommons that a lot of people like to use.
Specifically goat and snake,
Yes.
right? Like those are two powerful things to do.
Yes.
Then you have friends on the other side to draw cards.
Mhm.
You got Maleficent to draw cards.
Yep.
So you have a lot of things in Amethyst to draw cards, and then you compare that with something that can use for heavy hitting. I think Amethyst Steel would do really well because you get Let the Storm Rage On.
Sure.
You get some of the bodyguards as well in there, so they're really hard to take care of. So.
Right. But I'm thinking that Amber could be good as well though, because there are a lot of, like some of the smaller singers are common or uncommon. And some of the bodyguards are common or uncommon. So I think I'm gonna try Amber. I'm sorry, I do love Amber. Don't know what I'm gonna pair it up with yet. Maybe I'll do an Amber Amethyst.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do an Amber Steel still, since I do love Steel.
I might do an
I'm not sure
I
yet.
think I might actually do Emerald Amethyst Flotsam and Jetsam deck. There might be a small chance. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Who knows?
When your store wants to do these other formats and kind of explore things, like he explained it basically that he's looking to how can he expand Lorcana besides just having another night where people might come and play, because that would essentially just split the normal crowd that comes on Sunday. You'll get a couple people that are come both times, but really you'll get some people that come one night, some people that come another night. So if you offer a different format, something that more people can come and play, and this way it doesn't put that block of, oh, I have to go buy 4 Rapunzels and 4 Robin Hoods in order to have a competitive deck, right? You don't have to spend $100 on a deck.
Yep.
Some people have already drafted some. Like I threw together one deck, and it would, if I went into the store and I bought all the cards, it would cost $10.
And that's awesome.
Right. So that's what kind of this is going for. So you might have it at your store called Porcana. Some call it Street Rat, which is kind of a weird name. I get where it's coming from, but some people might not like it.
Sure.
So Porcana seems to be the normal one now. There's been some talk on other online, like trying to do something that other trading card games do as well. My only thought there is make sure that you're leaving room for like regular standard Lorcana. Just because for some folks like us, like I don't mind trying it out at the store, this other format, but it's also we have very limited time to actually practice, and we've got set championships coming up.
Coming up soon.
Right. Shimmering Skies set championship.
Shimmering Skies last month.
Okay. So Shimmering Skies set championships coming up soon, where everyone will be after the Mirabelle. You got the Lorcana Challenge that is this weekend.
For Vegas.
For Las Vegas and in Birmingham. And people want to play constructed so that we can practice for those things.
Yep.
So, because when I'm looking at the calendar, right, for us, it's like we won't play this weekend at our normal store. We'll play next weekend. And I think he said for that one, like bring your Porcana decks, but we'll still play with the regular decks.
And then the following week,
the following week, he has set championships on the Saturday. So
maybe that's why he's going to do the Porcana
he might do
Sunday.
Porcana on Sunday, so that might make sense.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so really, like you guys have there's going to be like one more weekend there where we get to practice regular constructed before set championship. So, it's all picking up again and get championship month, and then we'll move into November. It'll be time for another set to come out in mid-November. It'll be Thanksgiving and Christmas, so crazy end of the year. Adding a trading card game on top of it might not have been the best idea, but we're here and we like it, and we're not stopping now.
Nope.
Nothing can stop. No, I don't know how, but when there's trouble.
From Mickey's Runaway Railway in Disneyland and Disney World, a great ride and quite the earworm of a song.
That's
anyways,
sure.
One of the best Disney World classic songs probably ever.
Okay. Coming up this weekend, as we record this, we mentioned it already, the Disney Lorcana challenges. The last one in Europe is in Birmingham this weekend. Vegas happens this weekend as well. There's still one more in the States in October in Seattle. but exciting weekend. I realized earlier today, oh man, we made plans for this whole weekend where we're going to be away, and I can't just sit on my butt and watch Lorcana all weekend. So, so if you do have the opportunity to sit on your butt and watch Lorcana all weekend, go ahead and do it because there'll be a lot of it. Basically, if you're in the States, from the moment you wake up until late at night, you'll be able to watch, or not late at night, but 7, 8 o'clock, you'll be able to watch some great Lorcana matches. Um, and for those of us that can't make the Lorcana challenge, there is, of course, the set championships coming up in just a couple weeks. We'll all be playing for the Mirabelle Madrigal card. One of the top 8 are going to get it this time, so it's going to be much more, I want to say available. But if you make that top 8 now in your tournament, you'll have you'll be getting it. You'll be rewarded for making top 8 instead of before where you wouldn't be able to. Sorry, our dog decided that she needed to grab something that did not belong to her. Anyways, so if you were playing in the Lorcana challenges, or you're going to be playing in the set championships, I thought it would be a good time to just go over the decks that are really popular right now, just to kind of talk about them. So
best idea in the world.
let's start with the top. And Jen, you're an expert on this one. It's Steel Song.
Wow, what do you mean? I've only been playing it for 9 months.
Right, yeah. So
Don't
Steel
you
Song.
mean haven't you been playing it since the beginning?
Yeah, pretty much since the beginning. Yeah, so Steel Song is you are going to see a lot of it. There's a few different alterations. The big thing about if you're going up against Steel Song is watch out for the singers. If they put out a one drop Cindy on turn 1, there's a good chance whatever you put out on your turn 1, if you are on the draw, is going to be sung away. Because if they have a strength of a raging fire, and they're able to put out a second character on turn 2, as well as sing a song, um, then strength of a raging fire will get rid of anything with a defense of 2. And Cindy can sing that. Cindy can also sing Let the Storm Rage On, which again gets rid of anything that has a defense of 2 or lower. And they get to draw a card. So if you are able to get rid of that little Cindy, definitely want to do that. Also, be aware of the shifts. If they play the one drop Queen, it'll shift into the big Queen. If they play the one drop Cindy and you notice that they're not using it to sing or they're not using it to quest, there's a good chance that they're saving it for the shift Cinderella, which is probably one of the most deadliest cards in the game, and very few cards that are going to get rid of it, really.
With one hit.
Be prepared.
Be prepared, Maleficent, and
Maleficent.
the big Maleficent.
Maleficent.
And then yes, and the song, the Amber song.
Sure, yeah.
What's it called? That's what I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
the World's Greatest Criminal Mind. But that's it. Maui's not getting rid of her. None of the big hitters are getting rid of her, and the only way that Medusa is getting rid of her is if she's the only one out.
And if you have all your ice blocks.
Yeah. Another popular card that has come out of Shimmering Skies that is being played a lot is Prince Naveen. He is a 4-cost uninkable, but at 4 costs, that's still something you want to keep in your opening hand because you can, as long as you have other inkables. And he sings a song for free up to a 5 cost.
6.
Up to a 6 cost when he's played.
But I don't think there's any 6 cost songs.
None that's played in the first field.
No.
There are 6 cost songs, but there's none that are.
So that's definitely a deadly card to watch out on turn 4 because most people are watching out for the Rapunzel, thinking that they're going to be, taking off damage. And while that's still in most decks, Steel Song decks, that Naveen is definitely terrifying, for sure.
More
In fact, Matt, why don't you mention what you did with your lanterns?
Right, so one more optimal terms, when I was mulliganing, so I played Steel Song last night. When I was doing the mulligan, my priority on the play at least was to do the method where I'm going to sing A Whole New World early.
A whole new world.
And so it was turn 1 ink, play a Little Cindy. Turn 2, Ink, play a Lantern, and then also play a Little Robin Hood. And then turn 3, I inked and I played Naveen and had him sing Whole New World for free on turn 3. Um, so I had a 4 cost character out on turn 3. I had Whole New World played. Um, whatever plan the other opponent had was basically gone because I got rid of their carefully mulliganed opening hand. And then I was able to sing with the Little Cindy to get rid of, I think they had a Flynn on board. So I sung Let's Storm Right Down with that, got rid of the Cindy, drew a card. And then passed over to them. And then even if they got rid of that Little Cindy at that point, I still had a fully unexerted singer of up to 6 that quests for 2 ready to go
with a pretty big butt.
Yeah, which is a 3/3, so it's going to take out, if they rush in with a fox or something next turn. Would have taken them out too at the very least, but he was ready to go, so I could use anybody that played. Thing, I already had 3 characters on board, so Sprinkler, Raging Fire. I think the next turn I ended up shifting Cinderella too. So it's like,
because with the Lantern you can do that on turn 5.
Yeah, that was on turn 4.
Or turn 4, I mean. Yeah, you can do that in turn 4. Yep.
So it's a pretty powerful move. I think Steel Song is in a great place right now, especially in 2-game format. The reason I say that is that I think it's really hard to beat Steel Song if they get the hand they need, which isn't that difficult. Because with aerials and stuff, they can search through those first cards, look for something, and with the mulligan, it's easy to find the cards you need. It's really hard, I think, to beat when they're on the play, when they're going first. So I think it's a good, solid option, especially in the 2-game format, because it'll be really hard to beat them when they're going first. In a best of 3, it's a little bit more difficult because it comes down to that die roll, which is always important. Not so much in the 2-game format.
And again, though, if you are considering playing Steel Song, it is definitely one that you will need to practice with. Like, don't think that if you don't know the cards really, really well, don't think it's going to be something to just kind of go in and play with easily. Because, as Matt was saying when he was playing it last night, a lot of times Steel Song players play slower because there are so many little decisions to make to decide like what's going to be the best option. Like, what order do you want to play cards, sing cards, and
one of the things I was doing was unless I had the perfect line to get to Whole New World on 3, I was basically sending my songs back because I wanted an aerial to be able to hit songs. And if there's more songs in the deck, I'm going to hit the songs.
Sure.
Right. So I was sending a lot of songs back to try to just get that line of playing a Whole New World on 3.
Yep.
That's what I could. So it's a make sure you really have studied that deck before you just pick it up and play it. Just because you've heard, it's best deck. I don't know. I can't say it's going to be the best deck. It's definitely going to see a lot of it in Vegas and Birmingham and at your set championship.
And it's also really fun to play.
It is. It's fun to sing. It's fun to cast those
yes,
songs.
It really is.
Okay. The next big one is Ruby Sapphire.
Wow.
You thought you were going with the aggro.
We'll get there. Ruby Sapphire is then the next biggest one. So really, when you're thinking about Lorcana, the way you really have to think about how you're playing is remembering that you have 3 main types of decks, right? You have mid-range, control, and aggro. And it's very much rock, paper, scissors, right? Aggro beats control, control beats mid-range, mid-range beats aggro. Okay? So when you are playing and you figure out what kind of deck they're playing, whether it's mid-range, control, or aggro, you have to try to switch your play style to match what will beat them. So if you normally have, except for aggro should just always do aggro.
Always be aggro.
Just always go aggro. You can't switch to mid-range.
Nope.
Against a control, or you can't switch to control with an aggro deck. You just
nope.
Can't. But control decks have some aggro stuff in them. Mid-range decks have some aggro stuff in them. Control can use some mid-range stuff to beat aggro. Aggro just always goes back. It's always pedal to pedal. Ruby Sapphire is the big #1 control deck right now. Basically, its plan ramp and then destroy you, right?
Mhm.
So they're going to be playing. They're going to be looking for TPOs and how far I go. Not how far I go.
Mhm.
One jump ahead on turn 2,
One jump ahead of the spotlight.
just to throw ink into their inkwell
Yep.
so that they can get a higher amount on turn 3. Start drawing cards, and maybe you can get a fishbone quill out to get ramped up. I've played that deck, and I've been up to like 7 ink by turn 4.
Mhm.
So I can play Be Prepared. I played Sisu on turn 4 to kind of help take out some of the aggro stuff. So it starts slow and then goes fast. Once I start throwing out dragons and Be Prepared and then dimes and crabs.
And not even that, but like if you've got like 12 ink out there on turn 5 or 6, you can just flood the board.
Yep.
And
Doesn't mean flood the board.
no, I mean flood the board. You could flood the board, and like that's that's where, especially if you are able to play like little Sisu or big Sisu, that's why it will often beat the aggro decks unless aggro can get out fast enough, or if they don't get the ramp stuff in their hand, which which does happen.
Yeah, it sometimes feels like if whatever deck you're playing, you need to beat them before they get to an unsustainable amount of ink.
Mm-hmm.
It gets really hard for Steel Song because playing Whole New World against them is kind of
helping them.
like it's like reloading a gun.
Yeah.
For them.
Mm-hmm.
You're just reloading their gun and then you're going to shoot you in the face with it.
Yeah.
So it's a really hard deck.
Really, the only thing that helps is if you somehow get to Be Prepared and you're able to take out some of their stuff.
Yeah. The big pieces, though, that weakness is it has a little bit of inconsistency. Mm-hmm. You have to mulligan hard for that ramp on turn 2, or the fishbone pull on turn 3, because if you don't get those, you're basically going to just spin your wheels.
Yep.
Until you get up to turn 4.
Mm-hmm.
That happened to me last week when I was playing with it, where basically I just didn't play anything until I got a higher amount on turn 4. Mm-hmm. Like I threw down an ice block on turn 1, and then it was just nothing. And I mean, I mulliganed hard. I think I sent back 6 to try to find the stuff I need, and I just didn't get it. So if you are playing it, realize it is a bit of you need to get some luck. Like you got to be running hot. You got to be lucky when you're playing it. But if you've got that luck running for you and you're able to get the cards you need, that deck is really, really, really difficult to beat. Up next is a deck that seemed like it would be pretty popular. Definitely gets a lot of play, but it can be weak to the last deck, to the last couple decks we've been playing. It is Amethyst and Amber Hyper Aggro.
Yay!
You play that.
I was getting ready for it to be like the Taffina.
That's the mutton fudge.
Yes.
All right,
so for sure the winner of the LC Las Vegas.
All right, so Malcolm, so why don't you explain how your deck works, like what kind of cards you normally play in it?
Speed. I am speed.
Nice.
So okay. So you.
This could be such a great action.
Ka-chow,
right?
Ka-chow. Yeah. It better be a good card, I swear.
No, here's
Ka-chow.
what it is.
Okay, Ka-chow better be a great card. All right, go ahead, Malcolm.
You play a Lilo or Maleficent or a Daisy on turn 1. You play 2 Maleficents, 2 Lilos, or 2 Daisies on turn 2.
Or a Piglet.
You play 3 Lilos, 3. No, just kidding. Okay, so your goal is to throw everything out of your hand. Mm-hmm. So you'll play Lilos, more tiny children. Mm-hmm. You'll play the dragon lady, goat lady.
Piglets.
Yeah, piglets. Balloons.
You mean Maleficent?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you have
dragon goat lady. I'm like, what
goat lady?
Dragon goat lady are you talking about?
Piglets, ducks, bears that fly airplanes that are also bodyguards for some reason. Wait, what? Ducks that are bodyguards that give lore. What?
Donald.
The German bodyguard bear.
Oh, I'm sorry. The German bodyguard bear that flies in
German.
It's like Baloo von something.
Is he?
Yeah, it's not. It's like Baloo when he dresses up and pretends he's a German to fool the communist pigs in Tailspin.
Why?
I didn't.
Why don't you know more about Tailspin lore, guys?
I know about that. I didn't know. I did not realize that bodyguard Baloo was that Baloo.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just the regular Tailspin Baloo.
The other goat, the blue one, and I
Stay tuned for our next podcast. Tall Tales, a Tailspin Lore podcast.
No. Not happening. I love Tailspin, but no.
Let's begin.
And then we've got the Dolores Madrigal, and then we've got the purple necklace thing.
The amethyst, Amicron,
and the 2-for-2 lore coupon.
Yep. Acknowledging into them, it's you pay 2 ink, you get 2 lore. It's a 2 for 1.
And you just get it all in your hand and you just throw it all down. Hello, this is me, Emmett, the famous reporter, and right now we're selling 2-for-2 coupons.
What? Why is the reporter selling coupons? I'm so confused.
Selling them?
Like the worst newspaper ever.
All right. So anyway, so what kind of decks do you feel like you play best against, Malcolm? Like that you often win against?
Like I can win against any deck if I get the right hand.
All right. So what's the quickest you ever won a game, Malcolm?
4 turns.
Yeah. So it's 4 turns. It's going to be hard to mount a comeback with that. When you're playing the control decks, you have to hope that you were able to play a Sisu on turn 3 and then got enough ink to play the big Sisu on turn 4, right?
Daisy.
Yeah.
Perfect opening.
Even with Steel Song, like if they're playing the daisies, you can't really deal with them until you can start throwing down Zeuses.
Yeah.
Which might be as early as late as turn 5 before you can really cast them.
Yeah, unless you get an Ursula.
Yeah, you gotta get that Ursula out, or shifting a character on turn 3. So it can be difficult to deal with. It's not impossible, but basically, if you can survive past turn 5, you've got a chance.
Yep.
But even then, it can be pretty hard because with that gathering knowledge and wisdom and the goat, right? They can just get that sneaky, cheeky lore.
And the Donald.
Sneaky, cheeky lore.
You can't do anything about. Yeah, the Donald just add another thing, or they got.
Well, and the Baloo, because the Baloo, you either have to just leave him as a bodyguard or just give up the 2 lore to get rid of him.
It can be a very difficult deck to go against, but there are some differences to it. Okay.
Question, Malcolm. What? So, question about your deck. Does Baloo is Baloo like to go or only when he's banished? Only when he's banished. Okay.
So there are 2 other decks that are pretty popular right now. One of them is good old Ruby Amethyst. It's the bounce package. Will never die. It just keeps on surviving.
It's like the Energizer Bunny.
It's like whenever I'm in doubt, I'm just gonna go and grab the Amethyst deck. Very little has changed from set 4 to set 5. Shimmering Skies really didn't give it too much. The only thing you'll see being played differently when out with it is the library. It's in a location that comes down on turn 3. It's inkable. It gets 1 lore, so it's not as powerful as the Queen's Castle. But when characters are there and they get banished, you draw a card.
So it's kind of like a mini Robin Hood. No.
I mean, no, because Robin Hoods have to be banished in a challenge, and you draw a card. This is just banished, period. So if you've got a bunch of little guys there and someone thinks grab your swords and banishes them all, you got 3 there, you've drawn 3 cards.
So basically like a holy ward if there's any grab your swords.
Yeah, they're a little bit difficult to get rid of because they're coming down turn 3, so like the crab fox, if you were playing the mirror, like the crab fox combo doesn't do enough to get rid of it. You need even more power from Maui to get rid of it. You can't just do a Zeus and a Baboon to get rid of it over in Steel Song, so it's got a little bit more to it. People tend to kind of sleep on it because it's only gaining 1 lore. They're like, I can deal with that later. But then, the other side will put all their characters there, and so you're like, well, I'll just start picking off their characters, and now they're drawing cards, they have more resources to play more, so it can be a difficult thing to deal with it. It's still something you want to try to destroy as soon as possible if you see it. If you're, playing the Ruby Amethyst, your game plan really has not changed much since the last set. You want that Flynn Sisu line to play right away so that you can try to get that early lore, and then once you get to the end game, it's go bounce go, baby. Get to victory.
So
and even a Flynn in late game isn't a bad strategy if you've been able to control the board enough.
Yeah. If you throw Flynn down and Maui down, that's gonna be hard to beat.
Yep.
So what's the second most popular?
So the next one is it's Amethyst Emerald, but not the one you're playing, buddy. So Emmett is playing more of an aggro invasive type Amethyst aggro deck. The one one that is currently popular is kind of a mid-range tempo deck. So you're kind of trying to build tempo and disrupt the other player's tempo of playing cards. I mean, like playing your 1 cost and your 2 cost and your 3 cost. Like you got that tempo going, right? You're constantly like recycling your characters, you're playing them. Um, and then instead of just banishing your other characters, like they'll play a character and then you make it bounce back to their hand. It's using things like the Emerald Chronicon, where if they banish one of your characters, you bounce one of their characters to your hand, or one of your own characters. Like a really popular move is they banish one of your characters, and then you bounce your rabbit back to your hand. You get to draw another card. You kept your rabbit safe. Um, they're using the whole bounce package, so snakes and foxes, and goats are all in the picture. They're using that really big new Clarabelle, right? So you play that Clarabelle, and then you draw up to the number of cards that the other player has at the end of the turn, and you've probably bounced a bunch of cards back to their hand. So you bounce their cards back to their hand, remove them from a field, and then you're drawing more off of it. Um, the weakness I found when I played it was that if you go going up against really big characters, they can be really hard to deal with. You can deal with some of them with like bouncing foxes and crabs, kind of really hit them hard. Using Cricky to hit them hard, um, but it sometimes just doesn't feel like enough, and he feels like a little bit like you're just kind of you're doing a lot of stuff, but you're just kind of spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere. When that's what you want to make them feel, but sometimes it feels like you're in that trap too. Uh, so those are probably the 5 decks you'll see the most of at the DLCs. All right. So if you are playing against them, that's what you'll be seeing. That's what you can expect. If you can try to plan around that, that's probably what you'll see in most of your set champs too. Those set champs can be a little bit weirder because you might see something that just comes out of nowhere. We will take a look at what the winning decks are next week for Birmingham and Vegas. And if you are at either of those events, good luck, have fun. The Vegas one in particular looks really awesome with artist signings, and you can play against the creators in Two-Pack Rush, like the bigger creators like um, Ryan Miller, Steve Warner are going to be there challenging people. So it's going to be really cool. Have fun there. Uh, experience the city some. They probably had to add all that stuff to try to keep people in the building because Vegas can be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So have some good food, play some good games, and best of luck to all of you. I'm sure I'll be watching whatever I can once we're back. So
Because, oh my.
Go ahead.
Because we're going to Cedar Point this weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna go ride some thrill rides. And I'm gonna just start challenging people to Lorcana coasters and just go for a game.
So yeah, just unwrap it, just like the cards just somehow stay on the coaster.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it'll work. Okay.
I bounce my goat.
I totally think we can make it work on the pirate ship.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it really will work on anything that moves.
Wait, what if we do it on a stupid ride?
Maybe the wildcat one because it'll like wild mouse one because the like centrifugal force of spinning will keep them stuck to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe something. Okay. Let's move on.
Otters I see. Let's swim.
What?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Azurite Sea.
Wait, is that the sword from
Azurite
Jake and the
Sea,
Neverland Pirate?
Let's swim. Okay, great.
I think Stitch has the swords from Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
That's just a wooden sword.
I think that's a Jake and the Neverland Pirates reference.
I
think that's coming to Lorcana.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Hopefully they do. They should. There's a Jake and the Neverland Pirates card in the set that was quite amazing. We've got a couple of new cards. Only a few have been released since last week, which focused a lot on Baymax and Chippendale and the rest of Big Hero 6. We've got a couple of new cards this week that we can go over. So let's look at first. We've got Nick Wilde, Soggy Fox. He's in Sapphire. He's a 1-cost inkable, 1 strength, 2 willpower, quest for 1. Special ability, nice to have a partner. While you have another character with support in play, this character gets +2 strength.
So again, Sapphire is one of the biggest sets with Sapphire. Sapphire is one of the.
What?
You mean with
Azurite Sea?
We only
with support. Okay, you said with
Okay.
Sapphire, so we didn't know what you meant.
Okay. Yes, Sapphire is a support deck. Goes well with Amber in that support way.
Mm-hmm.
If a support deck is able to work like with the next set, like this would be a great card because it turns your one drop into a 3/2 all the time, not just a challenger or support, like a 3/2.
Yep. That's cool.
I think in a draft, since we've already seen that there are other common and uncommons that will have support, this could be a really good card in the draft. Play on turn 1, turn 2, you play somebody with support, and all of a sudden you've got 3/2 from your 1 drop.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Let's take a look at our next one. Is Judy. Judy Hops. Something rabbit. Resourceful rabbit.
Resourceful rabbit.
She's an amber. She's a 6-cost inkable. She's riding along on her ink runner. The 3 strength, 6 willpower as support. Quest for 2 and special ability. Need some help. At the end of your turn, you may ready another chosen character of yours.
Nice.
So she gives some protection at the end of your turn.
She's got a big butt.
Yep, it's always in play, so it's not something that you can do it the same turn that you play her. You can protect one of your people, so not too bad.
No, and with her, she could quest for 2 and then give that support of 3, and then after that, ready that character that you gave the support to.
Yep.
Why is Judy Hops in the futuristic boat of the storyboard?
Well, no, that's because it's all part of the story. Like she's in the Azurite Sea and the maze thing and all that.
I get it.
My only problem with her was I think she's a little expensive for what she does.
But she is inkable.
Yeah, she's inkable. I mean, we compare her with like Robin Hood. Like Robin Hood has the same stat line. He's a thing lower and shift.
I guess that's true.
His ability's better, so it's like.
And he can take out which is very rare now, Tiana, if he gives her support to Robin Hood.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And then we got one more card. It's Rafiki, Ethereal Guide. So, who's afraid of the ghost monkey? Not me. Because he's a 9-cost uninkable.
Who's afraid of the ghost monkey?
6 strength, 6 willpower, shifts for 7.
Ew, that's so expensive.
Quests for 4. Special ability is Astral Attunement. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may draw a card.
So kind of an amethyst.
Well, yeah. You know what? But maybe they're trying to get an amethyst sapphire.
I saw 2 of those at
Oracle is like one of those decks where it's like everybody would really like to be able to do something with it. It's missing removal.
Sure.
Right? Because you can hit stuff with amethyst. But blue with Sapphire only has like Hades and Let It Go to like send stuff to the other person's inkwell.
But this is
really expensive. Yeah. And it's an inkable. Like imagine if you got that as one of your first 7 cards.
You're dead.
It's like gonna just sit in your hand.
Unless if they get off of Holy World.
Sure, but you don't necessarily want them to do that.
Nope, that seems rough.
Because I mean, maybe the only thing I saw where that might make that someone could make this playable is they use those ones that can cheat out cards like Hades, where you banish your like little 1-drop Rafiki and then play this. Like that Mickey Mouse trumpeter, if you can get him to live for a turn, right? And if you already have like 7 ink, like the best case scenario, you have 7 ink and you shift him on top of your little Rafiki that has somehow survived the entire game. Like you're not going to be ramping nearly as much to like really take advantage of it. You're just going to keep replacing just the 1 card you ink every turn.
Sure.
Who knows? Maybe you do 2 of these guys. You got 2 of them sitting in your hand. So I like the ability. I like the stat stuff. It's just a tad too expensive.
Yeah.
If he'd been inkable, maybe.
Yeah.
Or if he had be like an 8-drop shift for 6.
Or like shift for 6 or shift for 5. But man, shifting for 7 is so expensive.
Because we haven't had a 9-drop shiftable ever.
I'd have to go through and look at cards, but yeah, I think this is probably the biggest shiftable
out there
card that we have right now. I think most of the other ones, you pay less basically based on the stuff in your discard, or it's goofy night for a day shiftable. So
sure.
So these were the cards for this week. I expect we're going to get at least 2 more this weekend after the Birmingham challenge is over and after the Las Vegas challenge is over. They will probably reveal at least 1 card. I think they're teasing Chip and Dale cards for tomorrow.
Awesome.
So more of those coming. And I'm sure a lot more cards. Overall, the set, obviously, to get through. I think we've probably seen about 30 or so. So we've got another 170 left to go. So that ends new cards for this week. So let's head on into Disney Trivia.
It's trivia time.
before I get to that, we did play another new Disney board game a little bit, just kind of passing it back and forth, and that is the Disney Taboo game.
Yep. So, got it for my birthday.
That's right.
So thank you, guys, for getting me that for my birthday. It was super fun. If you've never played Taboo before, basically it's one big word that you're trying to get your teammate to guess, but then there's a list of 5 words that you're not allowed to say. And if you say them, you get buzzed for being taboo, and then you lose that turn and it moves on to the other team. But there's special rules for the Disney one, where in addition to not being allowed to say the words on the card, you're also not allowed to say the title of the movie or TV show that they come from, or any other characters in that movie or TV show.
But of course,
which makes it a lot trickier.
But then again, me and Dad were on a team, and we just used Lorcana knowledge to get like a bunch of.
And then I tried to use Lorcana knowledge, and this kid just that's it. So, because I said, so let's see if any of you at home can guess what this is from my clue. Okay. It's a 6-cost, uninkable, who is an amber card, and it was recently played in one of the top 2 decks in a Lorcana challenge. And so a lot of people started playing it in Steel Song decks. And this is an animal card. And so then, he was clueless, blind. So then I started actually talking about the movie that this character is in, and that this character is known for being a parent of offspring. And those offspring get stolen. And so this parent and their spouse have to go cross country while barking a lot.
Yeah, but you had already lost him. He was firmly in Lorcana world, and he couldn't even come up with the fact that movie exists. He had shut down completely. He's like, what does a 6 cost in Lorcana? Nothing costs 6 in Lorcana.
An uninkable. What?
Uninkable. What could it be? I mean, is it Maximus? What are you talking about?
So it ended up being Perdita, is who the character was.
Hey, I have a great idea.
But anyway, so it was super fun.
I have an idea. What if instead of trivia, sometimes we do taboo?
Maybe, we'll see.
And we try
I would say there were some clues on there that were
really hard.
Especially for younger folks. So be aware of that.
For a practice round, it was Mortimer Mouse, but while they were explaining the rules to me,
you just went.
So what if you go? So let's take one card, Mortimer Mouse, and I just go ha cha cha, and that was one of the things you couldn't say.
It was one of the taboo words. And he goes, then how would I do it? I can't say anything else.
Ha cha cha.
You have to give clues from the one episode of.
No, because you can't say the name of any TV show.
I would say Zeppelin.
Zeppelin would have been
good. We had a Zeppelin.
Clubhouse and Glass Ball.
You can't say Clubhouse because it's the name of the TV show.
Peace Club.
You can't say Clubhouse.
He stole powers from the Fab Five.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So so there are definitely some. Don't expect you're playing with younger people. Don't expect them to know right away what it is. I think there was one from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. So you had to name Notre Dame Cathedral.
Yes. One of them was Pinocchio. So.
Well, yeah, sure. There are easy ones, but then there are hard ones. That's kind of the point. So just be aware if you're playing with younger kids.
Malcolm a little bit shiner in Pinocchio.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Pope cheated when it was his turn to do Pinocchio. Well, you cheated too. How? You said pizza.
It's your first time playing. It's okay if you made some mistakes. You learn about it, you move on. Same thing as Lorcana. So, so fun game. Definitely check it out. If you're a fan of Taboo, if you're a fan of Disney, you'll probably be a fan of this. But let's get to trivia.
Let's do it.
What is Louis Robinson's real first name in Meet the Robinsons?
Oh, we just had this.
We just had this question.
Am I reading the same one? Yes,
well,
I am.
We just had that.
That was last week's card. We'll go on this one.
Still don't know the answer.
Yeah, you guys know the answer.
What is it?
I don't know.
Cornelius.
Oh,
I remember that.
You gotta be ready for when Cornelius, Robinson, comes into the game. Okay, let's start with the ones that are impossible. Who voices the light fairy Iridessa in the Disney Fairies franchise?
Taylor Swift.
Alan Tudyk. No.
That was a great answer.
We are huge Alan Tudyk stans in this family.
Raven Simone.
I was gonna guess.
I'm sorry.
You gave me 0 chances to guess. I was gonna start guessing like Miley Cyrus, right? I was gonna start guessing like all those Disney Channel stars from the 90s. Thanks, Matt.
Wow. I'm so sorry. What special event is Cinderella tasked with planning in the film Cinderella 2?
Electric Boogaloo. Is it a ball? Is it their wedding?
No.
A coronation.
Is it a baby shower?
No. The royal banquet.
Ball's good enough.
It doesn't say ball, it says banquet. I think you give appetizers at a ball. You have to serve a dinner at a banquet.
I'm sure it wasn't that hard. Sophie the First did it. She was a child.
All right. Up next, what is the name of the toy hospital on the TV series Doc McStuffins?
Shoot, I was just been watching Stuffins. Doc McStuffins. Wait, I have such a good idea for a Doc.
No, okay, stop. No, we have to answer this question. What is the name of the hospital? Stop. It's right. I don't remember the name of the hospital.
I don't either.
Because I think that was in like the late season ones.
Yeah, that was like the reboot.
Yeah.
That was like McStuffins in space.
McDucks?
Yeah, I don't remember. Stuffin', yes.
McDucksville.
I don't remember. What is it?
Stuffins Toy Hospital.
I mean, you're close. It's McStuffinsville Toy Hospital.
Okay, that was close, Emmett. Good job. I'll take that. McStuffinsville Toy
Hospital. Not only is the hospital named after her, but so is apparently the town. There you go.
It's all in our imagination.
How dare you?
No. I mean like the town.
How dare you? It is real, and you will not tell me otherwise.
I mean the town. Well, good thing I got my skates on.
So, because he mentioned, right, Stuffy is evasive, right? Whatever you play.
Or Chili has a resist.
Chili,
no. Chili comes in and he's hurt. He thinks he's hurt. It's something. He comes in and he's damaged. And then whenever you heal him, he thinks he's damaged immediately again.
And of course, Haley the hippo, of course, heals like Rapunzel.
Yes, Haley the hippo would heal, right? Yeah, that's for sure. Lammy would just come out and just like make weird noises at the other player, like just annoy the person, like something really annoying for Lammy.
No, see, yeah, Stuffy is 100% going. No, Stuffy is 100%. He's coming in hot, so he's got rush.
He's like a 4-1 rush.
Yes, 100% Stuffy.
Oh yeah.
Like he's gonna hit someone, but it's gonna be like a big mistake.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I should have done this.
No, I have to hit Stuffy. You have to hit the highest strike tail gun. Yes.
But yeah, I like 4-1, so he's getting rid of something, but nope, he's. But then I feel like he would go into your inkwell. I feel like that's like a Sapphire card. Like he's got rush, he's going to attack, but immediately just dies and then goes into your inkwell. Yeah. So he's still like there, kind of to help, but like bad, poor planning.
But Doc and Haley are just people that come out and heal people.
Yeah, Doc's got to be Amber.
Yeah, they're like all Amber.
Yeah.
They're like all Amber, maybe some Sapphire stuff, but
yes.
it'll be Amber when they come
yes.
out.
Anyway, continuing.
Yes.
Okay. So, in Ratatouille.
Oh, shoot.
It's Pixar. I thought Pixar was your life.
Like, I've just said the name of a movie that you guys have at least seen. One of these other questions was about the Fairies franchise.
And Cinderella, too.
No.
Electric Boogaloo.
In Ratatouille, what is Alfredo Linguini's relationship to the late great Chef Cousteau?
Oh, I know this.
I know it too.
I don't know.
He's his grandson, isn't he? Or is he his son? I think he's his son.
What do you think, Malcolm?
He's the son.
I think he's the son.
Yes, he's his son.
Yes.
Son of who? Like who?
Of Gusto!
Like, this is the entire plot of the
plot
film.
of the whole movie!
No, but who's his son?
The rat.
Linguini! The chef that has the rat in his head. Linguini is
plot
so
the rat
son.
was
Oh my gosh.
Okay. One more. I think you guys can get this one. This one's actually, I think you could almost see in a regular trivia game.
Okay.
What character made his screen debut in the Silly Symphony cartoon, The Wise Little Hen?
Oswald the Lucky Rat. Oh, wait, no.
Okay,
It's Big with the Imaginary Dragon for Lorcana.
No. That is a character in Epcot and only Epcot.
In Silly Symphony?
Is it Donald or Goofy? I think.
So what's the question again?
Oh, God. What
I
happens when you guys are too silly?
What character made his screen debut in the Silly Symphony cartoon, The Wise Little Hen?
Okay, that's.
I want to say Donald.
Yeah, I think it was Donald too.
It could be Goofy. It could be Pluto.
Boop, boop.
It's definitely one of the Fab Five, though, I think.
Who's the Fab Five? No,
Chip and Dale is from the Christmas special, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Dave. Yes.
I'm gonna go with Donald.
Me too.
It is Donald Duck. Yes. That was the correct answer. Good job, folks. All right, so that brings us to an end for this week's show. I want to thank you guys all for being here. I want to thank you for listening or watching. If you have questions for the family, you can send them into QuestLoreQuestions@gmail.com. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. You can find a video version of this on YouTube. Wherever you do find us at, please like, follow, subscribe, smash whatever button you've got. Thank you, Emmett. Leave a review, leave a question, leave a comment, leave a like, leave whatever you want. We've enjoyed talking with you. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us. And we will see you next time on QuestLore.
Big with the Imaginary Dragon for Lorcana.